Now that my border is done, I'm ready to start with my back stitch, and I want to start with the purple, and I want to get most of the umbrella done. I'm actually going to start with this big curve right here on the outside of the umbrella. When you do this, you're going to get 2 arm lengths worth of yarn, and you're going to do the same thing we did when we started with the back stitch. You're going to fold, pinch, and wiggle to get the yarn on. And because this is such a long piece, I'm going to kind of double over a lot of it. And then as usual, I'm going to start underneath. So I'm going to go from below, and I'm going to bring this up. And I'm going to leave a tail, and I want to hold it because it's going to come out. So I'm going to go, with back stitch you go forward, and then you come up just like you're doing the running stitch. And then instead of continuing forward with the running stitch, we're actually going to go back. So that's why it's called the back stitch. So like with the running stitch, we will continue here, but we're going to go backwards into that same hole to fill in that space. And then once I have a couple of stitches done, the yarn will stay. So now I go forward, and then I go back to fill it in. And you don't want to pull too tight. If you pull really tight, it will make some holes within your burlap. And you want to think about maybe 3 or 4 squares. This is about as big as a stitch should be. And then you go back. So 1 step forward and 1 step back. And I like to hold the material up and work on top. Sometimes it's hard, if you're new at sewing, it's hard to see what you're doing on the bottom. But this kind of has some easy holes in it. So if you look where your needle is, you can kind of line that up with your line where you need it to go. 1 step forward, 1 step back. And I'm going to do this all the way around my umbrella. Now that I have finished this purple back stitch, I still have quite a bit of yarn left. So what I can do is, my string is at the back. Instead of cutting and starting over, I'm going to skip over to my next purple line. And just make sure you don't pull this too tight. If I pull this really tight, see how it'll wrinkle up the burlap? You want to make sure it lays flat. And then I can start stitching up here using the same string, going 1 step forward, 1 step back. So I got all of this stitching done with my 1 piece of yarn, but I ran out. So I have an end here, and I have an end here. So now I'm going to just continue with a new piece of yarn, the same color. Again, fold, pinch, and wiggle to get it onto the yarn. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to come up from behind, and then I'm going to go back. I can come up again. And this is one way that you can work on the front of the yarn, on the burlap, by using your finger to sort of scoop it up. And now I'm finished with this part, and I'm going to move over to the handle. And now I have 2 strings here. I need to make sure I only have 1, so I need to pull. See which one will come. This one will come. And then I have to pull my needle down further on the string so it's not so long. So now I have all of this yarn that I can use to sew before it will double up again.